In the American state of Ohio lies a small town named Elder Creek, a quiet town where not much happens. Yet its residents always whisper about a large building on its outskirts, surrounded by a rusty fence, broken windows, and a worn-out sign that reads, Red Hall High School, permanently closed in 1995. But the truth is, the school wasn't just closed. It was abandoned and deliberately forgotten. Locals say they hear the school bell at night, even though the power has been cut for decades. Sometimes, faint lights flicker from within, or shadows move across the classrooms, especially on the second floor. In November 1992, a student named Ethan Miller was in his final year at the school, introverted and soft-spoken, but a genius in science. His graduation project was titled Controlling Sound Frequencies and Their Effects on Human Behavior, a bizarre topic, yet it impressed his teacher, Mr. Greg Sullivan. One Friday, Ethan entered the lab early and requested to stay after school to run some experiments. The teacher approved, but Ethan never came out. When the janitor checked the building at 7 p.m., he found the lab door locked from the inside. He knocked, but there was no response. The administration was called, then the police. When they broke the door open, Ethan was gone. Only active equipment remained, along with a mysterious audio recording filled with low-frequency hums. That's when the incidents began. First was Mr. Sullivan. He was heard screaming from the teacher's lounge at night. When they forced the door open, he was found sitting on the floor whispering, "He spoke to me. From the blackboard. He wrote my name." He was sent to a psychiatric hospital and never returned. Then a female student close to Ethan took her own life, leaving behind a note. "He's not dead, just trapped, and we're next." The administration tried to cover it up, but parents began pulling their children out, and the rumors spread. In 1995, after a small fire broke out on the second floor without a known cause, the school was officially shut down. In 2023, 4 students from Columbus University decided to make a unique documentary for their final project titled Forgotten Places Red Hall School. The 4 were James Carter, a filmmaker obsessed with the paranormal; Megan Black, a sound and thermal imaging expert; Chris, who specialized in editing and lighting; and Abby, a researcher of local history. They entered the school on the evening of November 13th, just before the anniversary of Ethan's disappearance. They brought cameras, microphones, and EMF detectors. No one knew where they were. They wanted mystery and surprise. At first, the place was silent and eerie, cracked floors, dusty blackboards, scattered files as if left in a hurry. Then the school bell rang, loud and clear. Impossible. Megan looked at her watch. "No way, there's no power." Then she noticed something chilling. All their devices began picking up pulsing sounds like a heartbeat coming from the second floor. James said, "That's the lab where Ethan vanished. Shall we?" Despite their fear, they climbed up. They reached Lab 3. The door was open. It was pitch dark inside, but at the center of the room sat a lone desk with a notebook and an old lit lamp. Abby picked up the notebook and read in a low voice, "If you enter here, do not look back. Time loops, the place is alive. The bell never stops." Suddenly the door slammed shut behind them. The chalkboard lit up by itself, and a phrase appeared. "The exam begins now." Then came the sound of footsteps, many of them, as if dozens of students were running through the halls. Chris screamed, Someone's laughing. The laughter sounded like children, but distorted like a corrupted recording. Megan pulled out her thermal camera and saw horrifying figures, human-like creatures moving in the room, invisible to the naked eye. The voices started chanting, "Sit down, sit down, sit down." Each of them began feeling cold, heavy-headed, as if being pulled to the ground. Then everything went silent. They looked around, and James was gone. The chalkboard wrote on its own, "Absent, James Carter." Then, "Next?" Megan started screaming and opened door after door, but everyone led back to the same classroom again and again, as if trapped in a time loop. Abby recalled something, a story she read in the archives, a note from Ethan himself, like a final message. "I didn't die. I just tried to use sound to open the gate, but the gate opened, and something else came through." They understood now. Ethan wasn't just a victim. He was the cause. He tried to manipulate frequencies to isolate reality, but instead opened a portal between worlds, and had been trapped ever since. James might be the same now, or worse. By some miracle, Abby found an open door at the back of the classroom leading to the rear courtyard. They ran out, Megan and Chris screaming, Abby holding the old notebook. As they stepped outside, the bell rang one last time. Behind them, the school closed slowly, like it was breathing. They returned to the university in shock. They played some of the footage, but the audio was corrupted, and the videos unclear, as if something was tampering with the content. Megan said in a radio interview, "I don't know what I saw, but I'm sure the school isn't just an abandoned building. It's alive, and it chooses its victims." On the last page of Ethan's notebook, a new date appeared, November 14th, 2023, followed by a single sentence, "The lesson isn't over." In the following days, strange marks began appearing on the students' bodies. Megan woke up one morning to find words etched into her arm. "Go back." Chris constantly heard the school bell ringing in his ears, even in his sleep. Abby started seeing familiar faces from the school, appearing among people on campus, staring at her with inhuman smiles. They tried to ignore it, but deep down, they knew something had followed them, or worse, that they never truly left, and normal life was just an illusion. A week later, Megan disappeared without a trace. Her camera was found in her dorm, still recording, showing the school doors opening and closing, opening and closing. In the background, a whisper grew louder with each loop. The bell never stops. The night after Megan vanished, Abby received an email from an unknown sender. It contained a short video clip, just a few seconds. It showed a dark classroom, Megan standing in the corner, her face obscured, her body trembling. She slowly turned toward the camera and whispered, "Bring back the notebook," before the bell rings again. The clip ended with a high-pitched tone, matching Ethan's old experiment frequency. Abby felt time slipping and knew that the notebook she still possessed was either the key or the curse.